What if the life you're living was never meant to be yours, and what if no one ever noticed the difference? We were best friends, same streets, same school, but completely different worlds. He had everything, I had nothing, at least. That's what I thought, until the night he disappeared, an accident. That's what they said, a tragedy no one could explain, but then something strange happened. People started calling me his name. At first, I corrected them, then I didn't, because no one questioned it, not his friends, not his family, not even the people closest to him. It was like I had stepped into a life that was waiting for me, but the deeper I went, the more wrong everything felt. Messages started coming, "You're not him." And then I saw something I was never supposed to see. He was still alive, watching me, smiling like I was the one who took everything, but the truth is, I don't know who stole who anymore, because now, there can only be one of us. I stole my best friend's life, coming soon, and if you think you understand what happened, you're already wrong. I've known Jake since we were kids, the kind of friendship people always called perfect from the outside. Same school, same streets, same dumb jokes that never got old, but we were never the same. Jake was the kind of guy everything worked for. Good grades without trying too hard. Teachers liked him. Girls noticed him before he even spoke. Even when he messed up, it somehow looked cool, and me. I was just there, not invisible, but close enough. We used to hang out almost every day after school. Sitting on the old bench near the corner store, buying cheap snacks, talking about things we never really planned to do. I'm telling you, Jake would say, "One day I'm gonna leave this place and never look back." I always laughed, "Yeah, sure. And I'll be a billionaire by next Tuesday." He'd push my shoulder, smiling like life was already waiting for him. That's the thing about Jake. He never doubted anything. Like the world was built to say yes to him. Me? I doubted everything. Even things that already happened. Sometimes I'd watch people look at him when we walked together. That quick reaction. That small attention shift. Like he had gravity and I was just nearby. I told myself it didn't matter. Best friends don't think like that, at least, they're not supposed to. But over time, I started noticing small things. How conversations sounded different when he was part of them. How easily people remembered his name but forgot mine seconds later. Jake never noticed, or maybe he did, and it just never mattered to him. One night, after we left the store, he said something I didn't forget. "You ever think about what your life would look like if you were me?" I laughed it off immediately, but later that night, alone in my room, I couldn't stop thinking about it, not because I wanted to answer, but because, for the first time, I realized I already had. It started slowly. I didn't even notice it at first. Jake kept winning at life in the most annoying way possible. Like it was effortless. He got selected for a student program I had also applied for. I studied for weeks, stressed every detail, barely slept the night before. Jake. He forgot the application deadline. And still got accepted through a recommendation they couldn't ignore. Of course, I remember laughing when he told me, "Bro, that's actually illegal," I said. He just shrugged. I didn't even do anything. That sentence stayed in my head longer than it should have. Even outside school, it was the same pattern. People liked him instantly. Teachers trusted him. Strangers opened up to him like he was already familiar. And me. I always felt like I had to earn every second of attention. There were moments I hated myself for thinking this way, because Jake was still my best friend. We still laughed. Still played around. Still shared everything like always, but something changed inside me. I started noticing things I never cared about before. Like how people reacted when he entered a room. How his voice sounded calmer when he spoke. How even silence around him felt comfortable. One afternoon, we were sitting outside after class. Jake was talking about some plan he had for the future. Something big again. Something he was probably going to achieve. I nodded, pretending to listen, but my mind drifted. I looked at him and thought, why him? Why not me? And immediately I felt guilty. "Hey," Jake said suddenly, snapping me back. "You're not even listening, are you?" I forced a smile. "I am. You were just saying something. Important or whatever." He laughed. "You're weird today." If only he knew how weird my thoughts had become. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying everything. Every moment where he succeeded without effort. Every moment where I tried and still ended up second. I told myself it didn't matter, that friendship wasn't a competition, but deep down, a voice I didn't recognize started asking a different question: what would my life look like if I had his? And if you've made it this far, thank you for watching the video. I regularly publish inspiring stories, tragedies, and real-life inspired events like this one, so don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It's the best way to support my work and make sure you don't miss any of our next videos. It happened on a night that looked completely normal. Jake had texted me earlier, asking if I wanted to meet him after dinner. Nothing unusual. We used to do that all the time. I told him I was tired. I still remember typing that message, "Maybe tomorrow, bro." He replied with a laughing emoji, lazy as always. That was the last normal thing he ever sent me. Later that night, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't pick up. Hello. There was a pause on the other end. Then a voice I didn't recognize. Are you a friend of Jacob Miller? My stomach dropped slightly. Yeah. Why? Another pause. Longer this time. There's been an accident. I don't remember everything after that clearly. Just fragments, the way my body went cold before my brain fully understood what was happening, the word hospital. The word critical. Then silence. I remember arriving without remembering how I got there. Bright lights. Fast footsteps. People speaking too quickly. A kind of controlled chaos that didn't feel real. Jake's parents were there. His mother was crying in a way I had never seen before. Not loud. Just broken. I stood there, frozen, like someone had pressed pause on my entire body. They said he was missing. Or gone. They weren't sure yet. No one had clear answers, just questions, and hope that didn't sound like hope anymore. At some point, I stepped outside the hospital. I don't know why, the air felt heavier than it should have. I sat down on the steps and stared at my hands, waiting for my mind to catch up with reality. But it didn't, because part of me kept thinking something stupid, something I hated myself for even forming. If he's gone, then what happens to everything he was supposed to become, and why did it feel like the world had suddenly left a space empty? Shaped exactly like him. I didn't sleep for 2 nights after the accident. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the same images. Hospital lights. Crying faces. The word missing repeating in my head like a broken record. By the 3rd day, I went to Jake's house. I don't know why. Maybe I needed proof that he was really gone. Or maybe I just couldn't stay in my own room anymore. His house was quiet, too quiet. His mother opened the door slowly, like she already knew it was me before seeing my face. "Come in," she said softly. Inside, everything looked normal. But wrong. Like time had stopped mid-motion. His backpack was still near the couch. His shoes were still by the door. Small things that made it impossible to accept what had happened. I went to his room without thinking. The door creaked as I opened it. Same posters. Same messy desk. Same clothes on the chair. It felt like he would walk in any second and complain about something stupid, but he didn't, and that silence started doing something to my mind. People kept coming and going that day. Friends, relatives, neighbors. Everyone speaking in low voices, trying to understand something nobody understood, and then something strange happened. Someone looked at me and said, "You're here early today." I froze. Before I could respond, they added, "Jake always comes to help with the groceries on Fridays." For a second, I didn't correct them, I just nodded, and they smiled like nothing was wrong. That moment should have meant nothing, but it didn't, because later, when I was alone in his room, I kept thinking about it. If people could mistake me for him, even for a second, what else could they believe? I stood in front of his mirror for a long time. Same height. Similar face. Same silence in my eyes, and for the first time, a thought didn't disappear like the others. It stayed, clear. Uncomfortable. Real. What if I just continued where he left off? I shook my head immediately, almost angry at myself. "No," I whispered. "That's insane." But even as I said it, I didn't leave the room, and that scared me more than anything else. The first time I did it, it wasn't planned. I was at Jake's house again, helping his mother sort through paperwork from the hospital. Everything felt heavy, like every document carried more weight than it should. At one point, the phone rang. She was in the kitchen, so I picked up without thinking. "Hey. Jake?" A voice said. I froze. For a second, I almost corrected them immediately. My mouth even opened, but nothing came out. Yeah, I said finally, my voice sounded wrong. Like it didn't belong to me. There was a pause on the other side. Are you coming today or not? We're waiting for you. I should have ended it right there. Instead, I heard myself ask, where? They gave me a location, a simple one, a place Jake used to go often. When the call ended, I just stood there, phone still in my hand, heart beating too fast. His mother walked back in and looked at me. Who was it? I hesitated for half a second too long. Just someone from school. She nodded and went back to what she was doing. That was it, no suspicion. No questions, and that's when it hit me. It wasn't hard, it wasn't even complicated. People weren't looking too closely, they were just expecting him to exist. Later that day, I went to the place they called. I told myself I was just clearing things up. Just pretending for a minute. Just avoiding confusion. But when I arrived, they smiled at me like I belonged there. Finally, someone said, "We thought you weren't coming." I laughed awkwardly. "Traffic," I said. It felt ridiculous, but no one questioned it. We talked. We joked. Someone slapped my shoulder like we were old friends, and for a moment. Just a moment, it felt normal, too normal. On my way home, I kept replaying everything. The way they looked at me. The way they trusted my words without hesitation. The way nobody stopped to check if I was really who I said I was. I stopped walking halfway down the street, looked at my hands again, and realized something terrifying. I wasn't being forced into this, I was choosing it, and I hadn't said no even once. By the time a week passed, I stopped correcting people. It became easier not to. At first, it was small things. Names I didn't respond to. Messages I didn't explain. Situations where I just nodded instead of clarifying. Then it grew. People started treating me like Jake everywhere I went. At school, teachers greeted me with familiarity. Friends pulled me into conversations like nothing had changed. Even people I barely knew acted like I had always been that version of me. And the strange part, I was getting better at it, not just pretending. But becoming. I learned how Jake used to speak in certain situations. How he smiled when he was trying to avoid awkward questions. How he paused slightly before answering things he didn't care about. It was like living inside a role that already had a script. One afternoon, I was sitting with a group of his friends after class. Someone joked, "Man, you've been acting different lately." My heart skipped. I forced a small laugh. Maybe I just grew up. They all laughed with me. No one looked deeper. No one questioned it. That should have comforted me. Instead, it made my stomach twist. Because every time they accepted me, I felt Jake disappearing a little more in my head. Or maybe I was disappearing. I started going to places he used to go alone. Cafes, streets, small corners of the city he liked, trying to understand him, trying to stay ahead of mistakes, and weirdly. I began to enjoy parts of it. The attention felt natural now. Conversations flowed easier. Even silence didn't feel uncomfortable anymore. There were moments I caught myself thinking, this is actually my life. Then I would immediately feel guilty. One evening, I found something in his old bag, a small notebook. At first, I thought it was nothing. Just school notes, maybe plans, typical stuff, but inside, I saw something that made me stop breathing for a second. Names. Numbers. Short sentences, and one repeated line written several times, "Don't trust them." I stared at it for a long time, then I closed the notebook slowly, because for the first time since this began, I realized I didn't actually know who Jake really was. After finding the notebook, I stopped feeling like I was just pretending. Now I felt like I was stepping into something I didn't understand. At first, I tried to ignore it. Maybe it was just something Jake wrote when he was stressed. People write weird things all the time, right? But that explanation didn't last long, because the calls started. Unknown numbers, no voicemail. Just silence when I answered. Then one day, a message arrived, short, too short, "You're not him." I deleted it immediately, but it came again the next day, same number, same words, "You're not him." That time, I didn't delete it, I just stared at it for a long time. Outside, everything still looked normal. Same school, same people, same conversations, but inside my head, something had shifted. I started noticing details I had ignored before, people who seemed to expect things from Jake that I didn't understand. Conversations that made no sense to me. Moments where I had to guess my way through answers and hope nobody noticed. Then came the first real problem. A man showed up at Jake's house. I had never seen him before. He didn't knock. He just stood at the door until I opened it. He looked me up and down like he was checking something. "You've changed," he said. I forced a small laugh. "People say that." He didn't smile back. Instead, he leaned slightly forward. "Tell me something only Jake would know." My throat went dry. For a second, I tried to think fast. A memory. A detail. Anything, but my mind went blank. He watched me carefully, and then he nodded slowly, like he already had his answer. "I see." He turned and walked away without another word. That was worse than if he had accused me directly, because now I knew, somewhere out there were people who weren't confused, they were watching, and they were starting to get certain about who I wasn't. "Then, you're not the only one playing this game." The call ended. I stared at the phone for a long time after that, because now it wasn't just about pretending anymore. Someone wasn't guessing, someone knew. I didn't believe it at first. I told myself it was impossible. Jake was gone. That was the story everyone had accepted. That was the story I had built my entire new life on, but the messages kept coming, and then came the moment everything broke. It was late evening when I saw him. At first, I thought my mind was playing tricks on me. The kind of illusion that happens when you're too tired, too stressed, too deep into something you can't escape. But it wasn't an illusion. He was standing across the street, alive, watching me. My legs stopped moving before I even told them to stop. For a few seconds, neither of us moved. Cars passed between us like nothing unusual was happening. Like the world hadn't just cracked open. Then he crossed, slowly, like he already knew I couldn't run. When he stopped in front of me, he looked the same, but not the same. There was something sharper in his eyes. Something colder. "You look surprised," he said. My mouth opened, but nothing came out. "This wasn't possible. I thought you were dead." I finally managed. He gave a small smile. "Everyone thinks a lot of things." My heart was pounding so hard I could barely hear him. "I saw the accident report," I said quickly. "Your family, everyone," he interrupted me. "There was no accident." Silence. That word hit harder than anything else before it. "No accident?" I repeated. He nodded slightly. "Just a clean exit." That's what they were told. My head spun. Everything I had lived. Everything I had said. Everything I had become, it all started shaking at once. "You let them think you were gone?" I asked. He looked at me for a long moment. "No," he said quietly. "I needed someone to replace me while I was gone." My blood turned cold, and for the first time since this began, I realized I wasn't the one who stole his life. I was part of it from the beginning. I couldn't breathe properly after what he said. Everything in my head was collapsing at once. The lies, the memories, the guilt. All of it twisting into something I couldn't separate anymore. "You needed someone to replace you." I repeated. My voice sounded like it didn't belong to me anymore. Jake watched me calmly. "Not someone," he corrected. "You." A car passed behind him, headlights flashing across his face for a second. He didn't even blink. "I didn't ask for this," I said quickly. "You disappeared. Everyone thought you were gone." "I didn't know." He raised a hand slightly. "You didn't know what?" He interrupted. "That you were good at it." That hit harder than I expected. For a moment, I didn't answer. Because the worst part was that I had been good at it. Too good. Jake stepped closer. "I was watching you," he said. "From the beginning." My stomach tightened. "You were testing me," I whispered. He smiled faintly. "I was making sure you wouldn't break too early." A silence fell between us, heavy. Final. Everything I had built suddenly felt like it wasn't mine. Not the friends. Not the memories. Not even the name. "So what now?" I asked quietly. Jake looked at me for a long time. Then he said something I will never forget. "Now you decide which one of us gets to exist." My mind went blank. What does that even mean? I asked. He took a step back. "You can go back to your life," he said. "The one you had before all of this." A pause. "Or you can stay and finish what I started." My heart was racing. "Finish what?" I asked, but he didn't answer directly. Instead, he placed something in my hand, a key. "I'll give you 1 hour," he said. "After that, I decide for both of us." Then he turned and walked away like nothing had happened, and I stood there, holding the key, realizing something terrifying. There was no version of my life where I went back to being normal, because either I was lying to the world, or the world had been lying to me from the very beginning, and for the first time, I didn't know which one I was hoping for. If you made it to the end, you're still here for stories like this, so don't leave without subscribing. There are more stories coming, and the next one might be even darker than this one.